Americans love baseball and we love betting on it too. In fact, over $1 billion is wagered on Major League Baseball every year in Las Vegas alone. Baseball is great for betting on because there are tons of teams and a long season and more games than any other major sport. The regular season features more than 2,400 games you can bet on, and that's not to mention the playoffs and the World Series. This video is your introduction to the ins and outs of betting on Major League Baseball. Even if you've never seen a betting line in your life, when this video is over, you'll have all the tools you need to start making bets and to feel confident that you know what you're doing. We'll cover the most popular ways to bet on baseball, including money lines, over-unders, and run lines, and we'll also touch on a few key strategies that you can study further for free on WSN.com. So let's get started. Like we said, baseball is one of the best sports to bet on, and if you're already passionate about following it, you're ahead of the game. But even if you know baseball, the betting lines and odds can be confusing. The first thing you have to learn is how to read odds. Sports books in the US use what are called American odds. Odds are used in all kinds of bets, and they tell you how much you win compared to how much you wagered, as well as which team is favored and by how much. American odds are shown using a plus or minus sign followed by a number. Here are some simple rules for reading American odds. When you see a negative number like minus 150, for example, it means that team is the favorite. The number tells you how much you have to bet to win $100 profit. So if you bet $150 on the favorite, it would pay out $250 total. That's $100 in profit plus your original $150 bet. The plus sign, on the other hand, shows you which team is the underdog, and the number is the amount of profit you win for every $100 you bet. A $100 bet with the odds of plus 200 pays out $300 total, $200 profit, and your original $100 wager. You don't have to bet the $100 though. You can bet any amount you want, and the sports book will use the odds to calculate your payout. When you place your bets online, just type in how much you want to bet, and the site will calculate the odds automatically and tell you how much you stand to win before you actually make the bet. Money lines are one of the easiest bets you can make, and they're great for betting on baseball. To bet the money line, just pick which team you think will win. That's it. If your team wins the game, you win your bet. Since one team is usually better than the other, sports books use odds to even things up. When you bet the money line, you'll always get bigger odds and a bigger payout when you bet the underdog. On the other hand, when you bet on the favorite, the payouts are smaller since they're going to win the game most of the time. You've probably heard of point spreads before. The run line is baseball's version of the point spread, and it's basically the same thing. The run line is a way to level the playing field since one team is always better than the other. Essentially, the run line takes 1.5 points from the favorite and gives it to the underdog. Unlike point spreads in other sports, the run line is always 1.5 points. Going back to our example from earlier, here's what the run line might look like. The Twins are at minus 1.5 because they're the favorite. That means they have to win by 2 or more runs for run line bets on them to win. The White Sox are at plus 1.5, which means they can lose by 1 point or win the game outright in order for run line bets on them to win. You'll hear people say they covered the spread or covered the run line, which is just another way of saying they won the game even with the run line's margin of victory taken into account. The second part of the run line are the odds, and they work the same way as the odds in our earlier examples. Over-under bets are common in every major sport, and they give you a way to bet on the game without picking which team is going to win. Over-unders are also called totals bets. That's because you're betting on what the combined scoring total of both teams will be. The sports book tries their best to predict what the number will be, and that's called the line, and then you bet on whether you think the final result will be over or under that line. The over and under bets also have odds attached to them based on which outcome the sports book thinks is more likely. The odds work the exact same way they do as with money lines and run lines. In this video, we covered the most common ways that you can bet on baseball, but we've really only scratched the surface. There are tons more bets, tips, and strategies you can use, and we've outlined them all in our full baseball betting guide. Check that out for free right now on WSN.com. Thanks for watching, and good luck.